We have Mr. Chris Spear, who's the President and Chief Executive Officer of the American Trucking Association. Thanks for being here.
Chairman Graves, Ranking Member Larsen, and members of this committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify this morning. For 90 years, the ATA has helped Congress shape its understanding of our nation's infrastructure needs and supply chain challenges, and today's oversight is both welcome and timely. The IIJA provided a 38% increase in road and bridge funding, a historic investment not witnessed since the Eisenhower era. Prior to passage, ATA testified 25 times before the House and Senate, sharing how the decaying state of our nation's infrastructure is hamstringing America's ability to compete with rising global powers like China. In short, a first world economy cannot survive a developing world infrastructure. While the ATA strongly supported the IIJA, it was not a perfect piece of legislation. No bill is. This hearing provides oversight of $1.2 trillion of taxpayer-earned income, an industry that makes up just 4% of the vehicles on our nation's highways, yet pays nearly half the tab into the Federal Highway Trust Fund. We ask that every dollar be spent wisely and in accordance with what Congress instructed. To that end, ATA objects to the Federal Highway Administration's memorandum directing the IIJA monies be spent on existing roads and bridges and not new construction. Not only does this directly conflict with congressional intent, it does nothing to address congestion, improve safety, and reduce emissions. Our industry loses nearly $75 billion a year sitting in congestion annually. That's 425,000 drivers sitting idle every year. That's 6.87 billion gallons of fuel, more than $34 billion of wasted energy. That's 67.3 million metric tons of CO2 being pumped into our environment. Let me be clear. Funding existing infrastructure alone does nothing to fix congestion. It just makes it worse. Congress has proven that it can do the right thing. Passage of the Ocean Shipping Reform Act, passage of the CHIPS Act. We need more of this. We need new, secure truck parking capacity as proposed by the bipartisan Truck Parking Safety and Improvement Act. We need a greater emphasis on our workforce. The IIJA, including elements of the bipartisan Drive Safe Act, will do what none of the 49 states have done, requiring training and technology for young talent to operate our equipment. What the IIJA didn't do is require inward-facing cameras, opposed by drivers young and old, union and non-union. Requiring a company camera be in a driver's workspace every minute of every hour, including the sleeper berth, is intrusive, disrespectful, and opens a prying door into the other transportation modes. Your oversight is warranted. Lastly, we need a realistic discussion about our nation's energy and environmental policies. For 4 decades, ATA has worked with the EPA, producing phases 1 and 2 emissions reduction rules. To date, 98.5% of all emissions have been removed from our tailpipes. In fact, 60 trucks today emit what 1 truck emitted in 1988. This is not a matter of if we get to zero, but when, and we will get there, just not on the timelines being proposed in California. Their rush to zero makes their timeline and targets unachievable, and they will fail. The rare minerals needed for millions of 5,000-pound truck batteries, the infrastructure needed to charge them, and the additional electricity needed to power our trucks, full scale, doesn't yet exist and won't anytime soon. Again, we're committed to a cleaner environment. We've proven that. We simply ask we be realistic about the path forward. Do that, and we'll have the best infrastructure and the strongest, most sustainable economy like no other. I thank the committee and yield.